sounds like we're good. Where is my remote? Oh, me, I'm back. Let's go. The memoirs of the cladded cockerel.
It was a ghastly tale of a winter's night. One of an invisible killer and a crime perpetrated on the pavement along Briar Road.
Ah.
As the victim lay at death's door, the mystery of just who had stabbed the young lady from behind had been resolved.
Oh, it's that
But
case.
no sooner had my friend saved that Eastern Exchange student from his harrowing plight than in the dim, flickering shadows of gaslight did a second bizarre crime rend the stillness of that very night.
Same night? Oh no.
I dare say most can still recall the sensational headlines of the day. Haunted apartment of death, the condemned criminal's curse, the dread demon of coal gas. Yet, though the great detective had at once discerned the truth upon his arrival at the scene, it only proved to be the overture that announced the rising of the curtain on a most tragic play.
Oh gosh. So here's a second incident on the same day that this girl got stabbed in the back. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a fledgling lawyer, just starting out on my journey. 6 months ago, I arrived as a visiting student of law, having made the long voyage across the sea from the Empire of Japan to here, London, England, home of the Spitfire and the Royal Ravens. And on the way, in quite extraordinary circumstances, I made the acquaintance of a world-famous detective. Currently, I reside in the attic of the detective's own lodgings, from where I run my legal consultancy of sorts. I successfully defended a number of clients in Britain's highest court, the Old Bailey. But since a particularly grueling and unforgettable legal battle 4 months ago now, I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I lost my right to return. Okay, but that epic trial was just one small part of an epic tale. A tale which was now about to awaken from slumber, thanks to a letter that arrived this morning from my homeland. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, I'm hungry. What a delicious smell wafting up the stairs. Must be nearly time for breakfast. I better go down to Mr. Sholmes' suite. Say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. '30th of August. When was that the other case was in like April or something, so this is not the same day as that case.
Ah, Bruno, good. I was just about to call you up.
I'm already second Iris line. I'm already botching up.
I was just about to call up to you. The bacon's ready.
Good morning, Iris. Smells delicious as usual. Before we eat, though, I have some news. I have a surprise this morning. Shh! Not another word, Mr. Naruto. This could be just the abstruse thing for my pre-breakfast stagnation I'm having a stroke here. Mental simulation, my dear fellow. Morning to you too, Mr. Shaw. Hold on, the game's volume sounds weird. Let me just get to a point where it's the music and I maybe can fix this. Ah yes, I see. So that's whoa, Josh, get away from me! The truth is clear to me today. My faculties of observation revealed it again. Well, what are you talking about? You, Mr. Naruhodo, you have, this very morning, met with a surprise. Alright, we got music going. I'm gonna see if I can't fix this sound issue in my ears. I'll be right back. Alright, it just sounds weirdly hollow. But I think I can live with this. Alright. That's not the right thing. Hold on, I actually need to do this first. There we go. Well, is that not the case? Really, my dear fellow, it barely warrants an explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nest. Second, you have neglected to fasten your third button on your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to you have been flustered this morning. Can I talk now? But of course. Though I don't look for admiration, you understand. My hair always looks like this. It's been this way since I first met you. Oh, it has. And the button? It was ripped off last night, if you remember. What? By you. What?
Hey, they burned your button off?
Ah, yes, I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? As the evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing notes of the haunting tune. But then, to my utter dismay, the third string snapped. Why did it have to happen? Why? Oh, freaking stupid violin. Little wonder that in my vexation, I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it from its proper place. Well, I'd like it back now, please. It's troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket. It's troubling me. They expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor, one presumes. Helpful. What matters at present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was unmerry.
But Hurley, Bruno said it when he came in, didn't he? I had a surprise this morning.
Well, that really is a surprise. Yes, this man is the pride of the British Empire, the famous consulting detective Mr. Sherlock Holmes. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name.
Alright then, enough of this silly conversation. Come and eat this bacon before it gets cold. And I have a new herbal tea for you to try too. My latest special blend.
Oh boy, tea. And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Sholmes' lodger and companion. A truly exceptional young girl, who's the author of a highly successful serialization here in London. Yes, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, as published in Rance magazine. So Miss Alfredo, won't you put us out of our misery? What surprised you this fine morning? Ah, well, I received a letter from Japan.
Oh, from Susie, you mean? Was it? Really?
That's right, she had some rather startling news, in fact. Ah, intriguing indeed. You must tell us all about it over breakfast.
Oh yes, what fun!
Okay. Miss Sasato's letter. This is the letter that arrived from Japan this morning by international post.
Oh, how lovely! Look at Susie's beautiful writing. I wish I could read it.
And how is Judas was disappearing, may I ask? She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she's actually appeared as a lawyer at the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case.
Oh, really? Oh, isn't she wonderful?
A cut above your good self, my dear fellow. I won cases too, you know. Apparently, Mrs. Natsume appeared in the trial as a witness. Natsume. No, I don't recall that name. Of course you do. We helped the man twice. You know, in those two cases that took place on Briar Road 6 months ago. Ah, the mustache, twitchy man, with the somewhat feline eyes and mustache.
He didn't have too much mustaches, Hurley.
Yes, who could forget those two cases? They made a very deep impression on me. Although I must confess, the details are a little hazy now. Very deep impression they made on you. Clearly. Got him. Startling news. So what was the startling news penned by Mr. Sato? Do you remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Sholmes? Ah yes, it's very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely uncertain that a case of that nature did not occur. He's totally forgotten then. Anyway, in her letter, Mrs. Sato asked that we read over her case notes again and investigate further. Though it took place half a year ago? For what purpose? Because that's something that Mrs. Natsume said to her, apparently. He suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan so suddenly might have something to do with that case of the haunted lodgings. Oh? On Mr. Natsume's return to Japan, Mr. Sato's father questioned him about the case, she says. As something Mr. Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikotoba, prompting him to send him that telegram.
Oh, that case, yes. It was very strange, wasn't it?
I want to know what this case is. I haven't seen this case. Yes.
I compiled the whole story into a nice, neat manuscript ready for publication, too. But then Hurley was all funny about it. Remember? He was very mean. That story must not be published, you said. Very mysteriously as well.
Really? I said that. Are you sure? Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Sholmes? About why Mrs. Sato was suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return to Japan? It's 4 months, jeez. Mrs. Sato's... I don't know how to say that word.
It's been 4 months now since we waved Susie off at Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she just suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan.
Indeed it was. Due to a telegram she received from her homeland, I believe. That's right, telling her to return urgently. Yes, because her father had passed away. No. It just said he was suffering from a high fever, the cause of which was unknown. He's not dead. And thank goodness, too. But according to this letter, the news about her father's fever was just a ruse.
A ruse? So Susie's daddy lied to her so that she'd make the voyage back home? Why would he do that?
I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's almost certain related to that case of the haunted lodging. Oh, I just realized. Hold on. I forgot to turn on the freaking bot. Let me just do that. No, don't do that. Turn on the bot. Man, I haven't done this in a week, so bear with me. This might take a while. The oath tokens seem to be invalid. I'll be right back. Alright, let me just test the bot real quick. Hold on.
God damn it!
There we go.
Fuck! God Damn it, man! God, fuck! Game sucks, man! This game fucking sucks, man! Fuck! I can't catch the fucking break! God, people need to go play Winston for fuck's sake!
Glad it works. Alright. Let's get back to this. She believes it's almost certainly related to the case of haunted lodgings. Not sure if I read that line or not, but let's move on. Summoning her back to Japan so suddenly like that? I wonder what Mrs. Hato's father is hiding.
Hurry, do you know what this is all about?
Oh, he's back in his outfit. Cool. Oh, well, who could say? What? But you said... Please, I have an enlightened engagement, my dear fellow. My calendar is quite surprisingly full today. And a stringent analysis of the matter would be excessive, I feel, even if I were quite at leisure. So, man the fort in my absence, won't you, Iris?
I will, Hurley, don't worry. Don't see you later.
Bye. He scuttled off rather quickly there. I think perhaps Professor Mikotoba isn't the only person hiding something here. Sasaki-san was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. By, of all people, Mr. Sholmes.
Aha! I found them at last!
Iris? Are they?
The notes about the case? That's right. Susan and I combined them together. The case of the haunted lodgings. You want to read them, Naruto?
Absolutely. Thank you, Iris. I like this music. I have no idea what secrets could still be hiding in the shadows of this case. Perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light.
That's the spirit.
And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again together. Everything from what happened to our investigation and that fierce battle in court that followed. Reliving every detail. I just need to find a clue. I have all the time in the world. Because of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice law in the courts of Great Britain. Oof. No, my badge. It was 6 months ago. A mysterious incident that unfolded in the wintry streets of London. A young woman was found lying on the snowy pavement on Briarwood with a knife in her back. Fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident. The fog was thick, and nobody saw her attack her, but by a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her at the time, and was duly arrested. That man was Sasaki-sen, and the man who effected his arrest was Mr. Sholmes. Believing in our compatriot's innocence, Susato and I decided to represent Sasaki-sen in court. And after a grueling trial of many twists and turns, we finally managed to prove his innocence. I don't need to read that. That was the man's final reaction after the trial, but his jubilation was short-lived. We received a telegram from Mr. Sholmes the following morning. The victim of the Briarwood stabbing has regained consciousness. Hurry to Bart's at once. So Sato and I summoned a hansom and headed immediately to the hospital. Oh gosh, what the heck is that on the table? Oh, there's a rat in here. Oh. Great hospital, there's a freaking rat. Yeah, back in February. There you are at last. Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. I think not. You're late. What on earth took you so long? Your telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Sholmes. It's a 20-minute ride to the hospital. Pfft. That's right, and it's 5:30 now. So you've made very good time. Time is utterly irrelevant. The fact is, I've been waiting for what has felt like an eternity. Ha! In point of fact, I myself was awoken at 4 this morning by a telegram boy. And feeling it was somewhat unjust that I alone had been aroused at just an hour, I sent one to you. Well, thanks for that. Anyway, you're here now, so the victim is over there. She's only just regained consciousness. She's a little chubby. You should introduce yourselves, and I should observe from here. So that's the lady who was found on the snow-covered pavement with a knife in her back. Her name is... Oh yes, here we are. Miss Green. Gee, I wonder why she's named Miss Green. Alright. What the heck is this? Is this a statue of Green? This rounded wooden figure isn't the most charming, is it? I don't think that's a decoration, Mr. Naruto. It's an art mannequin, I believe. Used when practicing stretching the human form in different poses. Really? It's not exactly what you call a typical figure for that purpose, though, is it? No, I suppose not. I confess I've never seen one quite so full-figured before. Well, if you want to draw a full-figured person, it's the right tool for the job. Okay. Mouse! Eek! A mouse, Mr. Naruto! An enormous mouse! Vermin in a hospital? That isn't the best. But it looks like a very healthy specimen, doesn't it? It's very plump. I'm sure we could say that's down to the excellence of this facility, if that's what you were thinking. Okay. Oh, this looks like the patient's treatment notes. Let's see. Do not feed. What? What is this place? A zoo? You know, I seem to remember seeing an almost identical sign in our local park. For the pigeons, yes. This is a person. Poor woman. Hope she hasn't read this. We got a medicine cabinet. There are lots of bottles in that cabinet, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them like that? If you're a patient here, I feel sure you take some medicine by mistake when you were half asleep. That is a worry. But at least the cabinet has a lock, even if it's only a flimsy-looking one. I have no doubt you managed to unlock that somehow while you were half asleep as well. There are limits to what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Mrs. Sato. What else is there? Oh, there's a picture. Look, there's a photograph in this frame here. Aww. Oh yes, it's a picture of a young gentleman. He looks to be about the same age as Miss Green, I would say. Perhaps the young woman's special someone, do you think? My, Mr. Naruto, I didn't know you had a sense for matters of the heart. Not in the least. I sincerely said the first thing I thought of. What else is there? What else is there besides Miss Green herself? There's her bag. That must be the bag of Miss Green's personal belongings. She would have been brought directly here after she was found stabbed on the pavement, though. I expect a friend or family member probably brought some things for her. Alright then, let's see what's inside. A change of clothes, no doubt, and... No, Mr. Naruto! You must never scrutinize a young man's personal belongings. The young man might just have chocolates, or biscuits, or caramel. Why am I so hungry? I think that's it. Hold on, there's more over here. There's another one. This looks like the treatment notes for whoever is occupying this bed. Let's see. Do not permit to run around the hospital. The patient doesn't seem to be here at the moment, so... He or she is probably running around the hospital. Oh dear, how worrying. What's worrying is why they haven't discharged the patient yet. Idiots. Another medicine cabinet. There are all sorts of medicines in this cabinet. Look, I'm not sure if it's safe leaving them in reach of everyone like this. Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you were peckish, you might try a whole bottle or two. Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors.
I don't imagine that would stop you if you were hungry. I worry that you break the lock.
Hunger doesn't turn me into a criminal, you know, Mrs. Sato. Alright. Let's... Okay, let's just actually talk to her now. Good morning. Hello, I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan.
What? Was it your knife judge? Are you the man who...
No, I'm a lawyer.
And I'm Sasato Mikatoa. Nice to meet you. Oh no! Was it your knife too? Are you the one? No, I assure you. I was your assistant. We heard that you were gaining consciousness. We wanted to come to give your best wishes. Best wishes? From me? Thank you. I'm Olive Green.
Oh,
I'm an artist.
olive. You're shaped like an olive and you're wearing green. Perfect.
No, that's not right, is it? I mean, I'm trying to be an artist. Well, what I really mean is, I desperately want to be an artist. But the truth is, I don't have any talent, and I know I don't. Still wonder I stabbed in the back.
I don't think that's related, actually.
Gosh, this young woman seems bent over backwards to put herself down.
Seeing as we're here, we should ask her about what happened from her perspective, I suppose. Oh boy, this is not gonna go well. Suddenly be struck in the back by a blade as you were walking along the pavement. What a terrible experience you had, Miss Green.
It was so cool, Judgy, and the frog was so sick. I couldn't see a thing. That was 4 days ago now, I think.
4 days, okay. I see.
Is that right? Yes, that's right. I'm afraid you've been comatose all that time.
I need a drink.
But the case has been solved, hasn't it? Well, I've been in the hospital, I mean.
Indeed it has, my dear madam. Spectacularly, but not than a knife. Erlock Sholmes. No, it wasn't you.
Mr. Sholmes, as well you know, it's Mr. Naruhodo's hard work in court that solved the case.
Are you get to hear what happened, Miss Green?
Yes, I'm afraid so. A gentleman from the police force is supposed to be coming to film me shortly.
Oh, I see.
Becoming round cheap sir have made everyone frantically busy. So sorry, I should have never regained consciousness. It was selfish of me.
How's that selfish?
Oh no, we're so relieved that you're on the mend, Miss Green. We really are.
That kind of attitude. Maybe her surname should be Blue, not Green. Sounds like a greenhorn. Hello, Zeke the Jolteon. How's it going? Welcome in. So you're an artist, are you, Miss Green?
Oh no, I couldn't possibly claim that. I'm a fledgling artist at best. I mean, I'm a student of art here at the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts.
Oh my, Academy of Fine Arts? Great British, that's a wonderful country. Tell me, Miss Green, do you live here? Do you live hereabouts?
Oh no, actually, I don't deserve it, but I have a little flat on Brixton Road.
I see. How very interesting.
Oh no, is it?
Brixton is some 10 stops away from the underground. Brixton is some 10 stops away on the underground from here. And Thorndike Academy is a mere 3-minute walk from Brixton Town Center. Does it matter, Mr. Sholmes? Perhaps not. The Briar Road is the farthest salubrious part of town by comparison. Well, dwelt in by those inferior means, including the maleficent Mr. Mustache. inferior means. I suppose Seki-sen does fit the bill. It struck me as somewhat out of the ordinary for a young fine arts student to be walking in such a district. That's all. What's this? She suddenly clammed up.
Mr. Shaw, you should be ashamed of yourself, prying to young maiden's private affairs.
Oh dear me, do forgive me.
If you don't mind, I'm being discharged shortly, so I need to pack up my things.
Yes, of course. I won't keep you. Thank you so much, Miss Green. Is there Mr. Narrow Fodder here? Mr. Narrow Fodder? What? Narrow Fodder? Okay. Narrow Fodder now? Well, if you're looking for Naruhodo, the lawyer, that's me, but... Ah, Mr. Narrow Fodder, good. This is for you. Stop calling me Narrow Fodder! It's a message from Mr. Saucy Nutsmeg. Saucy Nutsmeg! Mr. Natsume sent a message to me.
But why would a policeman be delivering a message from Mr. Natsume?
Exactly. What's going on? Gee, I wonder what's going on. What's a Scotland Yard constable doing playing delivery boy at this time of the morning? Hey! Nice emote. Ah, what are you waiting for? Let me see that. Oh? Well, this is most unexpected. Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes? Is something wrong, Mr. Sholmes, he says. Have you not seen this note? No, how could I have? Let's see. The London's criminals have no intention of letting the great detective rest. A new case calls. A case of murder, no less. We must depart at once. This time it's actual murder, and not like assault.
Murder?
Call a cab. Time as it isn't. The trouble is, we've got to read Mr. Natsume's note. I was thinking we ought to pay him a visit in his lodgings once we did. That'd be entirely convenient.
Convenient? What do you mean?
It's all here in the note, my dear fellows. The murder we must investigate took place at Mr. Masasa's lodgings. What? Wait, what?
I'll have fiacre at once. I'll have fiacre at once.
Jeez, man, I can't. It was only yesterday that Sasaki-san was in court, and we were dispelling doubts about his innocence. And now, the very next day, there's the murder at the man's own address. He may very well be the unluckiest man alive. Or so it seemed to us at the time, but we were soon to discover it was worse than we thought. Great, who's dead? Cause I know it's none of I know it's not the man and his wife, because she came up. Wait, because I know he came up in a different. Yeah, he was on the jury on another day. I think was. And yeah, she was in the jury in a different case. I'm pretty sure, at least. Yeah. Oh, it was that jester we saw in that case. I was wondering what that jester was doing there. We never actually got to see him after that. What on earth?
Oh my, the gentleman is deceased. Without question, he's dead.
Oh, comes Mr. Natsume. Oh, what? Why is this happening? Why to me? I just got out of court yesterday. I just find out how to do this misery. And I wake up the next day and this. No, I'm about to get to work like this. Wonderful. Worm without wiggle. Get that to our nunnery. See, you're in high spirits again this morning, Mr. Masashi. Ah! Not the horrible airline jobs. Shut up to the door. I never invited you. I actually really love the voice I gave him. It's so funny to. Mr. Sholmes came here to visit with us. Oh, came here with us, I mean. I'm sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsume. I'm entirely at your disposal, Mr. Masashi. What can I do for you? Urgh! Oh, hi, buddy. How's it going?
Here they already. The busy boys.
Ah, Inspector Creighton. What a pleasant surprise.
Pleasant, is it? Gives me a heartburn every time I see your face at the crime scene, Sholmes.
Huh. I did this, Inspector. The heartburn is a result of the excessive consumption of fried food. Good morning, Inspector.
This is a crime scene. Don't you go touching anything.
Or good morning to you, sunshine. Alright, well, let's just examine everything. First of all, let's examine the victim's butt.
Oh, I said hands off. You're gonna mess up my crime scene.
Oh, no, I just wanted to look, that's all. Look at this butt!
No chance. I know you're kind. You'll mess it up just by looking at it.
Someone's in a bad mood. There's certainly some bad air in here, isn't it? Alright, sounds like I'd better talk to the inspector first and try to curry some flavor. Alright, well... Yeah, no, fine, I'll talk to you. So, Inspector, what was the victim's name? Who is he?
Mr. William Shakespeare.
Seriously? William Shakespeare.
He was a lodger here. As you can probably tell, he was an actor. Bit of a dead loss, as it happens. Or just dead.
Mr. Shakespeare?
It was the landlord, or Mr. Garrett and the other lodger, Mr. Natsumi, who found him. The fella didn't rise at his usual hour, so Garrett got worried and kicked the door down.
But doesn't Mr. Garrett have a bad leg?
Ah, yes, you're right there. There's a very Japanese hunchback over there who actually did the kicking.
Really? Sasaki-san?
Victim was pretty hard on me, Chief. Even done some time inside for petty crimes.
I just realized that he's got like those weird Japanese sandals on in London in the cold. That's gotta like, ugh, I can't even imagine.
Here, no money, no place to go, no friends. His only acquaintances were the people in his house. Miserable life and a miserable intellect.
So, what exactly is Mr. Natsumi still doing here? He's not involved in the investigation, so shouldn't you have sent him away from the crime scene?
Well, I'm not saying it's because the riddle looks odd or anything. Or they act suspicious. But it's already prudent to take a statement from the cohabiter.
You nearly said culprit there, didn't you? Oh dear. Mr. Natsume appears to be under suspicion again. Certainly seems that way. He does just come across as such an odd fellow, doesn't he? Poor man. How unfortunate.
Anyway, I can't say much until the coroner gets here. But I don't think the fella's been a goner that long. The body's still warm.
Oh gosh, it's fresh. Even if the inspector would allow it, I don't think I could bring myself to touch a dead body. What else is there? Well, I guess I gotta talk to Natsume. What a terrible thing to have happened. It's only been 3 days since I was arrested for the incident on the pavement last night. And then, having finally regained my freedom, it starts happening all over again. Endless, existence, executing, executions. The victim lived here on the ground floor, and your room is just 1 story up, isn't it? Yes, that's right. In a way, we were neighbors, I suppose. So you know the victim? Were you friends? Oh, oh gosh, he's going insane again. What's the matter with Sasaki-san now? It was an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken by it? He wasn't a complete stranger. But he never in this room. Never! On my honor, I swear. What an extreme reaction. You're probably wishing you never asked now, aren't you, Mr. Naruto? We found him here. I felt urged, which is why I sent some word asking him to go. Throw an inspector over there! Stop hiding. This is your worst disguise yet. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Ha! You need only observed it to know, my dear fellow. Investigating naturally. There's nothing natural about that pose. I mean, at least he's not dabbing.
Mr. Sholmes, have you made some miraculous discovery?
Patience, my dear madam, patience. We've not been here in this room 5 minutes. I feel like it's been like 10 minutes. So far, all I managed to do is what actually happened.
My goodness!
Oh gosh, not again.
But isn't that everything we need to know, Mr. Sholmes?
Let me propose the idea. I believe one can indeed see it that way. At the present time, I managed to draw 2 incontrovertible conclusions. The first, that there was a physical struggle here last night in which the victim fought for his life. Ah! So Natsume, that's wrong. Is something that Mr. Sholmes said significant somehow? No, don't mind me! Forget it was there! My second conclusion is that there was a poison lingering in the air here last night that passed the victim's lips. No, nonsense! Oh gosh, his face is twitching now. Alright, Mr. Natsume, why are you reacting so extremely to Mrs. Sholmes' decoctions? No, please! Pretend I'm not here! Infernal! It's cruel! It's significant! Impossible to ignore.
You must tell us everything, Mr. Sholmes. Spare no detail.
Oh, are you actually gonna do one of your deductions already?
But of course.
Let the theatrical tragedy before us be unraveled by my great deductions, presented for your pleasure by 2X. We've heard some truly astounding great deductions from Mr. Sholmes in the past. No doubt this will be no exception. What miracles will unfold before our very eyes this time? I'm gonna get a drink before we start. So, my dear fellows, for your delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Sherlock Sholmes' Logic and Reason Spectacular, Act 1. Alright, what any proposal do you have this time? Careful observation reveals to us the events that transpired in the disconsolate room last night. Foam at the mouth. The deceased clearly indicates the use of poison. Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate, in which contains, you observe, 1/2 of the sizable of bar of soap, meaningful, indubitably. Where is the soap sits flips so purposely upon the dish? Octopus the Last Supper, in fact. Yes. Could that be that the man was about to eat it? Of course. The fork reveals the answer. Seriously, you think he was gonna eat this bar of soap with a fork? It appears that the young man's appetite was undoing. Taking the bombs in the form of his cutlery, the victim engaged in a deadly battle for his life. Yes, the struggle against the hunger was in vain. For in the end, he couldn't resist the devouring of the slippery feast. Blood and its foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by the poison that tainted the contents of the plate. The soap and the lather, but the young man's mouth are too perfectly matched to ignore. Jeez. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to excessive indigestion of foul soap. Though personally, I have a great... thank you for that. I have a great interest in the taste of the foul candle wax, of course. Poisoning from soap ingestion. Why not just normal poison? Suicide or murder? The cause of death identified. We proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was it suicide? Or murder? The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's Last Supper. Did the man die alone? Single teacup suggests the answer. Teacup? To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. The careful criminal could have absconded with his own cup to cover his tracks. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Oh no, he's nervous. Indeed. What else is the answer, of course? It's the broken lock. I wouldn't say the lock's broken, I'd say the entire knob is broken. The door fork's open now. At the time of the incident, this door was locked. And soul key was in the victim's pocket. In other words, when the victim consumed the poison, he must have been alone. Along with his inferior soap, and once wafted in the infinity scent. And with that acrid aroma lingering there, the victim met his end. In tragic solitude. We can take comfort in the fact that his soul was well cleansed in its way to the hereafter. So you think it's suicide? This concludes the final act of Erlock Sholmes' great deduction. Alright. How are we gonna get out of this one? And once again, everyone's speechless. There's just one thing, Mr. Sholmes. You're disposing the identity. Just one thing, aren't you, Mr. Nehru? Pray what concerns you. Well, no matter how hungry he was, do you really think the man would have eaten soap? It's quite apparent that this man had barely a penny to his name. It is a curious thing, but the one so distinct, soap can suddenly appear quite irresistibly appetizing. I mean, just because it smells nice doesn't mean it tastes good. How extraordinary. In truth, I've tried a little soap myself in the What? Ew, gross! You eaten it too, you mean? My dear fellow, it was some time ago now. My postulation was that it would cleanse my gut. That's one way to put it. And did it? As I ran to the agony on the floor and spilled the contents of my stomach. Yes, I believe it did. I guess that's one way. Yeah, that's one way to cleanse your stomach. Just vomit all over the floor. The experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. It has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort and suffering. I cannot recommend it. Believe me, I wouldn't eat it, even if you did. Something that troubles me as well, actually. What's that? It's Mr. Natsume. Wonder if Sholmes discovered pro and prebiotics yet. Okay. Oh boy, I'm not sure. Did they exist back in the 1890s? I'm not exactly sure. Like I don't know what was invented when and why. Ah! I couldn't help noticing him sitting and quivering out of the corner of my eye. Almost as if Mr. Sholmes had touched a nerve somehow. No, that's. Oh, he calmed down apparently. Well, that clenched teeth episode didn't last. I think, judging by Mr. Natsume's reaction, the great detective's deductions may need some gentle corrections in order to reach the actual truth. Yes, Mr. Sholmes' observations and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and drive it in at an obtuse angle. When he does that, it falls to us to straighten things out. Alright then, let's see what we can do. Yes, we must pick out the key words in Mr. Sholmes' quite brilliant deductions. And discreetly exchange them for something that makes a little more sense. If we can do that. I'm sure we'll arrive at what Mr. Sholmes meant to say in the first place. Yeah, we've done this before. They aren't invented, they were discovered. Okay. What same thing, I don't know when they were discovered. So, yeah. In that case, are you ready for the second performance of the day? Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Erlock Sholmes, the logic reigns in spectacular, Act 1. Alright, and just like the previous game, I'm not gonna reread the dialogue that was already read before. I'll just skip past it. I'll only read the new lines of dialogue, just so I don't have to repeat myself. Foam of the mouth. Isn't that just from the soap itself? Am I? Like, the soap's doesn't have to be poisonous for you, for it to just foam on your mouth. You know, what if that's just green cheese? Okay. Well, you can't deny that a fork implies the man was eating something, or about to eat something. Yes, that's true. If I were to decide to eat some soap, I would prefer to use a fork than to attempt it with chopsticks. And of course, only half of the bar of soap is left on the plate. But might there not be some other explanation? Some material that proves whether the man really ate some soap? Alright, let's see here. Oh, there's this other piece of soap that's on the ground.
Take that!
Yeah. It just broke off. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course. The other piece of soap reveals the answer. It being the other half of the soap on the table. In short, the victim was not eating soap at all. But it's obvious, really. For no depths of hunger could drive any man to attempt to eat soap. Except for you, apparently. Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, took only a single bite. Okay. That begs the question how the man was poisoned, because there's no sign of any food on the table. Next observation is in Naruto, and one that furnishes us with the answer we seek. And now we're back to, now we're back to where we had before. Victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of that plate. Mr. Sholmes is still pushing the soap argument then. Perhaps he's suggesting that man licked the soap rather than ate it. That's still pretty bad. If soap in London is that poisonous, I don't think I want to be washing my hands with this. But there are no signs of any food in this room at all. Of course, food isn't the only thing that passes people's lips, is it? There's clearly a stain right here. Oh, it's not selectable. Teacup. Fork. Contents of the plate. Let's just look at the teacup here. Yes, a Western vessel for the serving of infusions of dried tea leaves. The teacup isn't Naruto, as you well know. Stop putting on airs. It's empty. So we've already established that the victim wasn't eating soap when he died. However, there's significant evidence to suggest that he was drinking tea. But that's exactly. Yeah, okay, it's not going to update it at all, so I'm just going to present the teacup in. Yeah, there we go. Yes, the victim's life is claimed by the poison that taints the teacup. Indeed, cups have been the vessel of choice for practicing poisoners over the centuries. And it would appear that the victim drank every last drop. There's no sign of food anywhere in the room, which leads us to an immutable conclusion. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to the ingestion of poison contained in this teacup. Well, I mean, at least we were both right on the poison. Alright. Now on to Act 2. Suicide or murder? We're gonna probably conclude that it was murder. The Western vessel for infusion of hot drinks again. It's already featured heavily in our deduction so far. Yes, we can imagine that shortly before his death, Mr. Shakespeare was having a drink of tea. There would be nothing remarkable about that, but what troubles me is Master Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Solm suggest it. It's more to this direction than it seems. We must closely examine the scene of the crime again for more clues. This man died alone. Oh, I see is a second teacup.
Take that!
The camera work in these deductions are brilliant. Isn't man dying in dialogue? This other teacup suggests the answer. Yes, there are two teacups in this room all along. Ah! In other words, this is a strong indication that the victim's last supper there was a guest present. Why does the guest have the silhouette? What's his face? I forget his name. At the very least, we can say now with certainty that somebody else was here in the room last night, taking tea with the victim. What are you talking about? Utterly, unbelievable, unjustly, unreasonable. To draw a conclusion from such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. In which case, what more can we deduce about this possible guest at the table? Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Okay, yeah, now we're back to this. All right, we're back to the locked door. Mr. Saucy Nuts Pig. Yeah, I love that. I'm not sure I like where this deduction is going now. I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the halcyon days. Halcyon days. I don't know how to pronounce that. Halcyon days of eating too much soap. But the identity of the guest who was in here last night when the victim passed away is something I have a very bad feeling about. Yeah, I think it's something. Mr. Natsume is gonna be blamed for this again. We know he's gonna be blamed for another crime. We can try to ignore your feelings, but we cannot ignore the truth, Mr. Naruto. No, I suppose not. Let's try to look around again. Alright, well, we got an empty bottle. We got a pile of books. We can have sunglasses that, well, not sunglasses, but we've got glasses, but we can't do anything about. We have this candle. What was the question again? What gives away the identity of last night's visitor in the room? Candle. Let's look at this pile of books. At first glance, it seems that the only things in this room are the makeshift stage and the costumes. I overlooked these three books initially. I wonder what they are. Let's see. The titles read: Pictures of Monsieur Lecoq, Canterbury Yearnings, and Meal for Gaboria. I recognize one of those. Wait, I'm sure I've heard those titles before. It could just be an incredible coincidence, but they're the exact same three books that Miss Natsume purchased the other day. Okay, I guess they are all three of them the same books. What? Yes, the day of the unfortunate incident with when Miss Green was stabbed. So Saki-san had just been to a bookshop and bought them. That's right. You know, those three titles are here in the room of the victim. Yet Mr. Natsume claims never to have been here before. What does it mean, do you think? I really don't know what to make of it. Paraphernalia books.
Take that!
Indeed. What reveals the answer, of course, is the pile of familiar books. Quite so. There's no real coincidence that these three tiles are here in this room. It's the link to the truth. Ah! Mr. Natsume, you purchased these three books 4 days ago at the secondhand bookshop. That's just a coincidence! In that case, you'll be able to bring the same three titles from your own room, will you not? This very moment. No, never! No, not a good show! If you can't bring your own copies here, it proves that these three books are in fact yours. What the heck is this? Having purchased the books 4 days ago, you returned to your lodgings. You were arrested the very next day. So you can conceivably have brought the books here on the evening, but you never mentioned that. In other words, of these 3 books. Here to the victim's room. Oh, he just dabbed! Last night, you returned to your lodgings after the trial concluded at the Old Bailey. In short, there's only one possible conclusion. The victim died here in his room last night as a result of poisoning. And that same night, the victim had a visitor. A visitor? Was you, Mr. Sasaki Natsume? This concludes the final act of our Lock Holmes' great deduction. But you're not the murderer, aren't you? Please don't be the murderer. It's the thumbnail for that video. For that VOD, I mean. Not again! Not again! Not again! Not again!
Well then, Mr. Natsume. It would appear you're gonna have to accompany me down to the yard again.
But wait! Hold your horses!
Yes?
Dog! Key! Locked! Empty! Exit! As early as possible! He's so flustered, he's being stranger than normal.
What? You think it's not an alibi? You could have just made a copy.
What?
You live in the same building after all. You had plenty of opportunity, I'm sure.
What? Miss Amy!
Sorry, sir. You'll get your chance to give your side of the story later.
The facts speak for themselves, Mr. Mustache. Yo, horrible Alex Holmes! He really has found himself an arch rival now, hasn't he?
Come down. Come on now, don't dilly dally. I'm sorry, there's a carriage waiting.
Look at the score! I never imagined I'd be in this position again, but... You're me! Please, please! I'm innocent! Alright, I understand. We'll come to your cell later and talk about it. And what was he? Oh, yes? My little kitty cat! Please get her his breakfast for me! And so, his evil curse still apparently unbroken. So Saki-san found himself once again the prime suspect in a case of murder. Not once again, because the other one was not murder. Thanks to the incriminating deduction of the great detective. My dear fellow, that honor belongs to you. Well, thanks! Or at least that means Inspector Gregson is no longer here. We can examine the crime scene in more detail now. Yes, that's right. Of course. What? Have you forgotten what the inspector mentioned before? It was the landlord, Mr. Garrett, who discovered Mr. Shakespeare. Damn it! Oh gosh! I need to see that later. Mr. John Garrett. Yes. I expect we can find him in his sitting room on the top floor as usual. Right, we must remember to go talk to him later then. Alright, well, let's first examine the crime scene. Oh, the poor man! So young to die. Do you suppose it was a very painful death, being poisoned as he was? I don't know. All I can do now is hope that he'll be reborn into a better life. Yes, I suppose you're right. I wonder. Do you think that putting our hands together in a Japanese prayer would help a British soul? Sorry? I made sure I had references ready for just such an occasion as this, actually. This book is entitled The Beginner's Guide to Praying for the Departed, the British Way. What? Perfectly cut scream. Oh no, I need to... Yeah, I definitely need to check that out. I'll just reread it now. One moment. There's quite a spine on that book, isn't it? Alright, well... That's not gonna help us. Well, and here we have another disproportionately large machine. This looks like a meter of some kind. I'm trying to... Like some sort of gas pipe meter or something? This is the gas meter thing. Okay, good. I was right. See that in this district, residents pay for gas as they use it with coins. What? I see. Yes, now that you point out. Okay, I guess I do see a coin slot in there. See that there's a slot just here that looks like it would take a coin. See, I mean, if you put a coin in here. That's right. That would buy you about 2 hours of gas for lights and heating. 2 hours? That's not much at all. So if you were a poor person with no money, you'd have to sleep in that freezing cold. Yes. Or if you were a scatterbrain with no change, because you forgot to exchange your money at the bank. Thank goodness there's no meter in our office. Oh man, I feel bad for these people now. We got another window. Well, you got another bricked off window. As we've seen from outside, the window's completely bricked up. Vestige of the former window tax the Britons had to pay. What strange things they used for tax in Great Britain. I mean, making people pay for the number of windows they had on property is extraordinary. It's heartbreaking to think that the poor are having to block up the windows just to avoid an unaffordable tax. Oh, what is it, Mrs. Sato? If you look closely, a number of bricks are loose. What? Oh, okay. Oh, I see. There's like 3 loose bricks. Oh! Oh yes, it looks as though an amateur has broken out of a few of them just here. Was it Mr. Shakespeare who did it, I wonder? Being the lodger renting this room? Hey, look at this, Mr. Nojo. Well, I thought there's a low ledge. I feel like this is like their makeshift window. Just take out 3 bricks, then you have a little small window, and then when you get the others come by for taxes, just put the 3 bricks back and you're perfectly fine. You don't have to pay an extra tax. That's smart. And there's something on it. What, outside? Oh, is that more soap? It's so cold outside. You can feel it through this gap. It did snow at all last night. It would be cold. But more importantly, what is on the ledge out there? What are those snow-covered lumps? It's more bars of soap. Ah! Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up on the ledge outside the window? I have no idea. But the pair of them look rather charming like that. So that's very strange, isn't it? Bars of soap lined outside the window. I think perhaps we should take one. There are 2 after all. Oh dear. I suppose we could. Oh, what's this? Look here at the soap. Ugh. You see, in the middle there. Oh, what is that? Is that a drop of blood? It's a patch of a different color. It's sort of transparent, but some sort of fancy disguise. Only in Great Britain. It does look it looks like the Hinamura flag of Japan, doesn't it? How wonderful. It's probably a very expensive brand. Expensive? It's doing in a ramshackle old room. Bar of soap. Are they not gonna question if that's blood or not? I'll let it go slide for now. There's not much of these on the shelves, is there? Just this wine glass and bottle. Both of them are cracked. Oh, they cracked from the incident where Garadeb's wife was just chucking stuff at him. Yeah, it's not much use, are they? What's the matter? Oh, I was just reminded of the Reaper, that's all. Oh, what? Von Zeeks, really? Prosecutor Lord Von Zeeks? Yes, he's so reckless with his wine glasses. I was thinking it's a waste that he should donate some to the needy. You can suggest it next time we meet. Alright. Look at these extravagant, brilliant, bright costumes. Somehow they look out of place in this room with its grim, shitty going-ons. This one looks like a king's attire. A king? I've always dreamt of being a king. It looks like a cheap costume, though.
Oh, I think you'd be more suited to a feudal lord. A daimyo, or such like.
With such carnage, with a chonmage top knot. Every Japanese man wishes to have a wishes he had a chonmage. I don't know how to say that. Oh, hi Brock, how's it going? I need to play this game more. Yeah, I'm on case 2 of Ace Attorney Resolve, so if you don't want spoilers, then don't stick around. But good to see you here.
Oh, you look wonderful with one. Did you ever have a sword?
Can you imagine what would happen if I walked around the streets of London with a chonmage and a sword? Crap. Yeah. Yeah. What? Well, at least it was nice seeing you here. Yeah. What is that emote? Conch shake. Oh boy. What the heck is this?
What is this?
Looks like the part of an envelope.
Yes, I think you might be right. Perhaps it was torn off when the letter was opened.
Is that significant?
Well, it's a little out of place, perhaps. When you look around the room. There's no sign of the letter. Perhaps the envelope and the fax is there.
Ah, she's right.
Yet here we have the torn off end of an envelope. It just strikes me as unusual.
I agree. We better take this just in case. I wonder what's with that. What's with this? Okay, I was wondering what's with this board, but no, there's nothing. Doesn't seem like there's anything with the board. Anything with the fork, the teacup, this hat. There's this board. We can look at this.
This is some sort of makeshift stage, I think, isn't it?
Where does the audience sit though for the nightly Shakespeare performances?
Practice aspiring to the great stage must practice their art, Mr. Naruto, with or without an audience. In fact, on a related note, perhaps you should set up a mock bench for the defense in your office.
What? What the heck is that?
You can practice your art every single day.
Jeez, let's get our cords of steel ready. I'll think about it. If you promise to don a beard and pray the roll of the judge.
Well, if that would help you achieve your goal.
Oh gosh, this I have to see. Oh no, yeah, I want to see that for sure. Somebody draws a Sato with a judge's beard. This is a gas wall light, isn't it? Must be connected to a gas pipe in the wall.
Gas lights? A gas stove? London really is a city of gas.
Now that I think about it, Mr. and Mrs. Geradev had an open fire on the top floor, didn't they?
Oh yes, you're right. I don't really see a gas stove up there.
Well, I much prefer a live fire anyways. It's so much cozier. Maybe I should commission a drawing for that. That would be so funny. Oh boy. Is that it in this room? Just looking around. It's the candle. It's painting. I'm not sure that painting has anything to do with anything. Hopefully I'm not missing anything. I already got that. I got these hat. Oh man, it's this freaking hat. I recognize this hat, but the hat's nothing to do with anything. Yeah, I think we got anything here, so let's just move. Oh gosh, we got a lot of stuff here. You go to Briar's room. I'm gonna go to the Garadev's room because we said to talk to them. Is it still as messy as it was before? It's not little. I mean, you can still see the burn spot on the rug, on the floor. Here we are again, the eccentric landlord's eccentric top floor abode.
We're because Mr. Garadev's the one who discovered the incident this morning, don't forget.
Ah, you chaps, eh?
Yes, good morning, sir.
Thank you for your cooperation in court yesterday.
It was quite a trial. As for Mr. Garrett, as much for Mr. Garrett as anyone, really.
Came straight back here after all that business at the Bailey yesterday. You didn't expect to wake up to more bounty nonsense this morning.
I wonder if you wouldn't mind telling us exactly what happened, Mr. Garrett.
Yes, suppose you'd like to know all about the dead loss of an actor chap on the ground floor room.
Those were exactly Inspector Gregson's words, weren't they? Oh, you're actually gonna get out of your wheelchair and talk to us? Okay. Well, first of all, it's been a while since I've done this. Look at this badge! Mr. Garrett, can I show you this? What the heck? I don't think I've seen this pose.
Been quite a couple of days, as you can imagine. I'm afraid I'm rather tired. Haven't really got the energy in the old eyeballs, to be honest with you.
Some other time then. Okay, fine. Be that way. This morning's incident must have been a real shock for you this morning. I hear that you discovered what had happened.
Ah, well. That hopeless actor chap rises at 5 o'clock shopping every morning without fail. But at 5:30 this morning, he still hadn't lit the gas. So I went down and knocked on his door, and I'll barely answer.
That's when you broke into his room by kicking down the door?
Well, I called on the rough-looking Japanese chap to do the grunt work, of course.
Wasn't it a little premature to kick the door down? The man could have just overslept by half an hour. That's very true, Mr. Naruto. If 30 minutes oversleep warranted such behavior, I'd have to kick your door down every morning.
Well, we don't know. Better be safe than sorry and all of that.
Is it just me, or is he avoiding our gaze now all of a sudden? Except there was a sorry situation indeed that you found on the far side of the door. Mr. Shamespeare. The victim's name is Shamespeare, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, William Shakespeare. Took the ground floor room 3 months ago now.
And how would you describe him?
In a word, destitute.
Destitute. Or destitute.
Well, let's face it, the only redeeming feature of that room is the cheap rent. Anyone willing to live in a place like that is either broke or has a body screw loose.
But it's hard to choose which categories the second would fall into. Mr. Naruto, that's a little rude. Oh, that's right. She can understand my thoughts.
He was doing research as well.
Research? To what?
Shakespeare, of course. Shakespeare. Read a few plays in the old bar myself, you know. Romeo and Hamlet and all that.
It's Romeo and Juliet, dude. Yes, William Shakespeare is England's most highly regarded classical playwright and author. He's what's known as Sal in Japanese, as you know, and many of his works have already been translated. It seems incredible that Shakespeare was shortened to Sal, though. Someone was too heavy-handed there. There was a lot of costumes in the victim's room, actually, weren't there? Of course, Mr. Natsume is a scholar in English literature as well. I imagine he and Mr. Shakespeare would have had much in common. Okay, so apparently there's like, hey, let Roberto and Roberto and Hamkit be lovers. Okay. So it seems like Shakespeare and Shakespeare are completely different people. I wonder if Shakespeare's alive at this point. Shakespeare interpretation disagreement leads to shock murder. End quote. Let's hope it's not that. Mr. Naruto, really? How rude. I'm sorry, Susato. I'm sorry it's a rude statement to reference Mr. Brushel. yesterday's events. As Mr. Natsume's trial yesterday, you came straight back here, I believe, didn't you? Did you notice anything strange between then and this morning?
Well, now, must have been about 6 in the evening by the time I got home. Snow was coming down rather heavily, as I remember. It was completely dark already. That field actor chap was out at the time.
Mr. Garrett noticed there was no light from his room or something, I suppose.
Couldn't summon the energy for anything works, so I just sat in front of the fire up here. It was after 8 before Shakespeare got back. The chap was up until past 1 in the morning, I'll have you know.
Oh gosh.
Suppose he met his end sometime after that. I was asleep by then, so I'm rather in the dark there.
Well, thank you. That was very illuminating. Is everything alright, Mrs. Sato? Well, I was just thinking it's a little strange, that's all. Mr. Garrett, you're up here in your room all evening, if I've understood correctly.
Not a big fan of stairs. Not with this blasted leg.
Then, how's it then you seem to know? The precise movements of your tenant on the ground floor, I mean.
Ah!
That's a good point. That's a very good point. I can't imagine that you could hear noises from the ground floor all the way up here. Does this old man like to spy on his tenants? Is that it?
I say, I know what you're thinking. It's a value outrage. I'm ex-military, don't you know? I don't go around spying on my tenants. Why would I?
How do you know, Mr. Garrett?
It's the gas, woman. The gas tells me everything.
The gas? You mean paying for the gas with the coins? What on earth do you mean, sir? How can the gas tell you anything, let alone everything?
Well, you're probably aware the gas is supplied to the building by pipes.
Yes, I'd more or less worked that out. Every room in the building is connected by a single pipe to the gas main outside. And the gas company supplies gas to properties via the main. Yes, I understand that too.
Let me see if I can explain. Let's say I was to light the gas lamps up here. What do you suppose would happen?
Well, obviously the room would get brighter.
Exactly, but at the same time, the lights in all the other rooms of the house were dim for a moment.
What? They dim? Why? Perhaps it's because when you light a gas lamp, it briefly uses more gas than usual. And that reduces the amount of gas in the pipe for the other lamps that are connected to it. That might explain why the other lamps dim momentarily, might it? Yes, of course, because everything's connected to a single sturdy pipe. That seems like bad design, but I guess it's 1890s or something like that. Is that supposed to happen though? It sounds rather undesirable.
Jolly good point. In fact, the gas company's pipes in these parts are pretty hopeless, long worn out,
Okay, that makes more sense.
and barely got any gas in them to start with.
Gosh.
Opposite's also true, of course. Extinguish the lamps up here, and they'll glow brighter in the rest of the house.
Ah, right, I see. So by watching the flickering of the lamps in one room, you can determine what's happening elsewhere.
You got it.
Oh, of course, because when people come back in the evening and before they go to sleep at night, what they're guaranteed to do is either light or put out the lamps and fires. Clever.
In point of fact, the room on the ground floor and the one above us use slightly different amounts of gas. Watching the lights in here closely, I can work out almost exactly what's going on in the whole house.
Gosh, that's fascinating, Mr. Garrett. Absolutely fascinating. Never knew he was so into gas. Kappa.
Oh well, nothing to it really.
I can't really see that that's going to help us with the case either. Well, I'd like to know. That's why Mr. Garrett is so interested in what his tenants are up to in the first place. I feel like there's more to it than idle curiosity. Maybe. Hold on. Oh, I don't have it in evidence. Dang it. Aw, man. Fine. Is there anything different about this room? Doesn't look like it. Looks like all these pots and pans are still, like all this pottery is still like cracked. You know, I guess I could, yeah, you know, actually, yeah, I should probably just examine everything. In case there's anything new. We know what the screen is hiding now. The aftermath of the fire altercation the other day.
Don't suppose I'll be able to clear that mess for some time now.
Oh dear, this must be a very difficult situation for you.
I'll say, but talking about twist of fate and whatnot. But there's a twist and a half. A run show all around.
Are you bending the broken pipe? He's clearly struggling with everything that's happened. We got these giant cannon bullets. Ah yes, those enormous Moro shells. It's quite something seeing them up close, isn't it? Did you say something about firing them into the barracks, Mr. Garrett?
Ah, you remember, don't you? Just a little mishap that occurred during training one day. What are you throwing fire on your own men? Captain bellowed at me.
Not surprised. A little mishap doesn't really do justice, doesn't it? Doesn't it do Apollo justice?
Well, one of these little incidents when one's a high-headed young private.
Perhaps I should put some evidence that resulted from one of my little mishaps on display. Oh, does the great lawyer, like the great detective, want to exhibit some trophies of his finest moments? Oh, alright, let's see here, let's display this statue of the thinker that's actually a clock. Then let's display the wiretap we stole from April May's closet. Then let's display the Steel Samurai. And then we'll display Von Karma's head on a platter. Perfect. Okay. There's a single apron drying on that enormous cannon-shaped clothes horse. Look. No, Mr. Naruto. That's a real cannon. I knew that. I was just testing you.
Piece of history, that is. Seen plenty of action on the battlefield, I can tell you. Now the old girl and I just enjoying peace and quiet and retirement together. And of course, she'd come in handy if the enemy decided to launch an attack again.
That's an understatement. Is there a war going on that I don't know about? I mean, there was a war the other day. A war that ended up with a knife in Miss Green's back. Oh, a copy of Rand's magazine. Oh, you actually have a copy of the magazine? The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. It's being read all over London. Isn't it wonderful?
Naturally, one asks oneself if such a singular detective could really exist. But having met the chap, it's undeniable he is most certainly singular. Singularly dangerous.
It's a genuine public opinion for you, Mr. Sato. Perhaps it should be reflected in the stories. Make no mistake, Mr. Naruto. I intend to snuff out the sort of public opinion that we just heard about personally. I'm starting to see where Mr. Sholmes' untainted reputation comes from now. Alright, all these pots and plates are fine. You know what? I guess he actually does have some, like, goods plattery that he can eat off of, instead of all this. Shells look like they've been completely torn apart by a wild beast. Did you seriously just call her a wild beast again?
Reminds me of the battle of my one, don't you know?
Ah, the experience of a seasoned veteran.
And we had us surrounded on all sides. Really thought we were done for, the whole battle company. We were talking about a real pounding from the cannons. We were taking a real pounding from the cannons, I mean. So, all we could do was run for our lives.
Oh, I thought the story was going in a different direction, actually.
Well, the whole experience taught me one thing, I can tell you. When you're done for, you're really done for.
That's not what a lawyer who often finds himself under fire wants to hear. Here's the window where the knife flew out. It's a good view of the wintry east end from up here. It's an impressively gray scene. There's really nothing comparable in Japan. And down below, Briar Road, partially blanketed in snow. And the pavement where poor Miss Green was struck in the back by the knife. Thinking about it, this is the only room in this building that actually has a window to the outside world. Oh, that's interesting. Sometimes Great Britain really does seem like a strange land, doesn't it? I suppose all foreign cultures might seem strange at first. Imagine how an English man would feel on arriving in Japan and seeing the people with a convention top knot. Well, that's a good point. I think, oh, there's the golden lion. You look very dashing in your uniform there, Mr. Garrett. Oh, he's referring to the picture.
Ah, that old portrait, eh? Drawn by an art student who used the rest of this room downstairs.
Oh, you look so wonderfully young and courageous and strong.
Yes, well, the chap presented it to me one day, and asked if I'd let him off the month's rent in return.
Oh, I see. So you did, presumably?
I barely well did not.
I knew it.
Oh! Portrait is a portrait, but rent is rent. Eh.
Yeah, it's still there proudly on the wall. I mean, he must still think highly of this picture if it's still on the wall. I think that's it in here. Oh, I guess there's the food. I'm surprised they haven't cleaned the food up since yesterday. It's an impressive collection of cakes on that fancy silver cake stand there. I feel sure that it was full of cakes when we first investigated in here as well.
Yes, quite right. Haven't touched it since. Haven't done much at all, really, since it all happened. Time's rather stood still for me, you know.
Oh! Time has stood still. That's an interesting phrase. I could use that excuse when I'm next supposed to be tidying the office. You could just tidy up, Mr. Naruto. Is that it? I think that's it. Yeah, I'm just gonna get out of here. Alright, well, we got... Oh, can I see present? Oh, I have the street map. Oh, it's the same... It's literally the exact same map from the other case. Like, I mean, like literally, that was where they thought the stabbing was. I'm just gonna call it stabbing because it wasn't murder. This is where they thought the stabbing was, but it was actually over here. And then of course, your books and bourbon books. Yeah, okay. Same exact thing. Second. And we still have the receipt from your books. Oh yeah, sure enough, they are the exact same 3 books. Oh, we gotta look at this bar of soap. Oh, I guess that's not blood. Okay. This bar is a different color. It's an exquisite design, isn't it? Trust the British to turn a boring bar of soap into something special. I quite like it. It reminds me of the Hinamura design of the Japanese flag. If the Japanese flag was green and orange. I expect this is rather expensive soap. Doesn't seem like likely, given who it belongs to. Yeah, what is with this envelope? Whoever opened this envelope didn't bother with a letter opener or scissors, did they? Yes, whoever opened it was clearly someone with an unrefined temperament. And judging from the angle of this report, this person in question might have been right-handed. Oh, okay. That's actually good to know. Mrs. Sato, I think perhaps somebody's reading too much of the Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes. You never read too much of it, Mr. Naruto. Never! Yeah, let's just move. Let's go to Briar Road. Oh, there's the soap. Oh. Yeah, there's the soap right here. With the exception of the top floor where Mr. and Mrs. Garrett live. All the windows are all bricked up. Yes, it's because of an old tax that was charged on the number of windows on the number of windows the property had. In order to pay this tax, the poorer members of society filled in with many of their windows. But that tax has since been abolished, hasn't it? So the windows could all be opened up again, surely. Unfortunately, it would appear that the residents of this district can't afford to pay. sad state of affairs. Oh gosh. Stupid animal. Fine, I'll let you inside. Alright. Especially for people like Morbius and Natsume, who have to live in a who've all cooped up in a windowless room. I suppose that's the price you pay for living in a very cheap accommodation. It all seems rather pointless when you put it like that. So we're not gonna talk about the soap that's sitting outside? Fine. As always seems to be a bicycle outside the Garrett residence. I read that bicycles are extremely popular all over Great Britain at the moment, in fact. That one seems very warped though. Especially the front wheel. Yeah, that's definitely broken. Is that to make it more of a challenge to ride, do you think? I think it's just broken. No, I'm afraid that might be a result of the rider's incompetence. For the front wheel to be so badly warped, I'm afraid the rider may have been similarly afflicted. And there's a good chance Mr. Natsume has been practicing on this bicycle, I think. Oh dear, I fear you may be right. Oh, jeez. Go to the other side. William Robbins. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. Why has somebody built a snowman on some sort of pedestal, do you think? That's not a pedestal, Mr. Naruto. That's part of the snowman's body. Really? But it already has a perfectly good body. Oh, it's true that British snowmen are usually made with 2 balls of snow. Perhaps as a foreigner. Now we're looking at him as if he's strange. Poor man, I know how he feels. If anything, it's Japanese and British 2-ball snowman that is a strange one. After all, real people do have 3 sections: head, torso, and legs. Do you ever think that perhaps you think about things too much? No. I've never heard of a 2-ball snowman in my entire life. It's always like 3 or 4 balls. We gotta get some manscaped to the bottom. I'm just kidding. Is that it? Oh wait, the street, that's right. London's blanket and fog again today. The sky is covered in cloud. But if you look carefully in the distance, you just make out the Crystal Tower being built. Ah, the Crystal Tower, yes. The centerpiece of the great exhibition that's to open in 6 months' time. Oh no, we're gonna have to see what the Crystal Tower is about in this game, aren't we? Everyone's talking about the Great Exhibition of London at the moment, it seems. Well, it's to be the largest event of its kind anywhere in the world, with technology and scientists from all over. I can't wait for it myself. Do you think visiting students from the Far East like us would be granted entry? The last Great Exhibition that was held in London had more than 6 million visitors, it seems. And this time, the British are determined to make it an even bigger success out to the Paris exposition. I see. That's an incredible number of people. With so many people expected to attend, we should easily be able to slip in unnoticed. There's always the honest approach of buying tickets at the main entrance, Mr. Naruto. Fine, let's go buy a ticket! And perhaps witness a murder or something like that. Okay, so there's nothing here. Let's go to the prison. No? Huh. I must be missing something. What am I missing? I'm just double checking. I hate when this happens when I'm like lost. I'm like missing one thing. I don't think I need to go to Show 'em the Sweet. Is there something in here? You know, I might actually have to present No, okay, we don't know. Gaslight switch. No, okay. Let me try presenting something to Mr. Garadeb. Okay. Let's see here. Let's present this. Mr. Garadeb, can I show you this? Okay. Yeah, he's not gonna know about that. Alright, you know about this torn off envelope? No. Okay, fine. What else do we have? The street map. Yeah, blah blah blah. Nope. The heck am I missing? No. I've talked to him about everything, right? Yeah, I have. Huh. What am I missing? Or do I need to go back? I might need to go back to... Hold on, what the heck? Oh, is this? Good to see Mr. Garadeb's Medal of Honor still proudly displayed on the wall. The inscription reads, for distinguished participation, if you remember. Yes, I remember. Because I remember thinking even I might stand a chance of picking up honors like that.
Wouldn't know it to look at me for now, perhaps, but I had my devil-may-care days, you know.
Devil may care. What'd you get up to?
Well, on in the past now, of course. Best left there.
Best not. I want to know now. Okay, fine. That's not triggering anything then. No, okay, fine, let's go. Let's go show him the sweet thing, apparently. Is there something here? No. Damn it. Okay. I'm surprised we can't actually go there. I'll go for now. Good night. Alright. Night, Zeke. Also make note what Sato says about each location. Alright, oh, okay. Thanks for the tip and good night. Oh. Okay, there is something here I'm missing apparently. Something about the body perhaps? Oh, the cup. That's it, right, okay, the cup. Ah, one of the teacups that Mr. Shakespeare and his guests drank from last night. But don't go drinking from them, Mr. Naru. There's bitter poison inside. I'm not planning on drinking any, don't worry. Anyway, the cups are both empty. That's true. So one was Mr. Shakespeare's, and the other must be the cup from that Mr. Natsumi was drinking from. But Sasaki-san wasn't poisoned, of course. Perhaps you should take these two so we examine them in more detail later. Okay, there we go. Looks like you have a good snoop around, eh? Okay, who is the... Oh, hi. Inspector Gregson, back so soon?
After I threw the little Japanese fella in the clink, I went and reported this to the investigation division. 5 minutes time, this place will be cornered out by the yard.
Oh, I see. Well, better be leaving then. Poor Mr. Natsume must be feeling very low being back in the cell again so soon. I'm sure. We should probably go now and... Oh, what? What? Laugh. What's wrong, Mr. Naruto? Yeah! Oh, brief candle! Nice but a walking shadow, the poor player! And strats and French's hour upon stage, and then here's no hurt more. Now, how soundeth the next part?
It is a tale told by an idiot for a sound of fury, signifying nothing.
Indeed! Oh, happy day! Walking Dead!
This story isn't dead at all.
What was that nonsense he was saying, though? I think, yes, it was from William Shakespeare's. It was from William Shakespeare's Macbeth. I've never heard of that play. A soliloquy from Act 5, Scene 5. Shakespeare. So it was that the victim, Mr. William Shakespeare, came back to life. If the man had indeed been poisoned, it transpired that it had killed him. He was taken by emergency carriage to a nearby hospital for treatment. And Inspector Gregson evicted us from the scene of the crime. Whatever that now was. Okay. Oh, that's... Oh gosh, who the heck are you? What do you think will happen now? Good question. What a strange situation for Mr. Natsume. Arrested for murder, but then the victim comes back to life. I think perhaps the victim was never dead in the first place. Seems very likely that Mr. Shakespeare did consume poison, as we deduced. But if it was an accident, attempted suicide, or attempted murder. Until the truth can be established, I imagine the police will keep Mr. Natsume in custody. I suppose so. Let's hope it doesn't come to anything more than a night in the cells. Oh, what's this? You know, it actually kind of looks familiar. What's that man doing over there? Looks like he's trying to see if Sasaki-sen's log jeans. Is something wrong, Mr. Never Heard of? Excuse me, can we have a word? He just ran off. I feel like I've seen that man somewhere before. Where was it? I do too, but I don't remember. Was he with Shakespeare? Was he walking with Shakespeare during that case? He might have been. But the other guy kind of looks familiar. The other guy kind of looks like. He kind of reminds me of Victor Kudo from Case 3-3. Well, we've done as much investigating here as we can, I think. Perhaps we have to go to the prison and speak with Mr. Natsume again. A good idea. Alright, well, I guess now we know what to do here. Oh, I guess we can't go to her. I'm just reading what she's saying on the bottom because I never noticed that she actually is saying something like a hint about where to go. I know you're not here anymore, but thanks Zeke for that tip. Look, Mr. Naruto. Mr. Natsume, have the police finished questioning you now? Look, Mr. Naruto, Esquire. Oh yes. What's he? Tell me. Is he ghost? Is he here to haunt me? Let me guess. You're talking about Mr. Sholmes. He actually calls himself a great detective, Mr. Natsume, not a ghost. His diabolical connections, they're not of this world. They love me. Ah, cursed! I'm cursed, I tell you! Well, that sort of hurts.
Credit where credit is due, Mr. Naruto. You were heavily involved in the abduction too.
Yes, moving on. We have some wonderful news. Oh!
The victim that we all thought was dead has come back to life again.
Now, in the absolutely worst case, you can only be tried for attempted murder. That's great, isn't it? That's great, isn't it, Mr. Natsume? It's terrible! Oh. I'm stuck! It's low! I'm suffering! I'm something wrong and sick! Wait, did you confess? You're a killer! Why the mustache? Consequences! Sorry to hear that. Ah, self-destructor! Make up your mind! Are you dead or alive? If you're going to come back to life, why bother dying? Quickly, wishy, washy, helium!
Oh, it seems like that Mr. Shakespeare was never actually dead in the first place.
Oh, that was me. That's sorry. Oops. That might make sense. I'm pleased that he's alive, of course. Our lovely debate last night was much fun. I'll be sad to think it was the last.
Oh,
Oops. Mr. Natsume, does this mean that you did see the victim last night? You missed Mr. Shakespeare, didn't you? I'm not saying another word! I might have a lawyer present! Who do you think I am? Please, Mr. Natsume, we need to hear your side of the story. Ugh, why am I cursed like this? Alright, now first of all,
look at this badge!
have I shown you this before, Mr. Natsume? Oh yes, the sweet aroma of our beloved homeland. It shows that the wearer is a defense lawyer. It means nothing in Great Britain, of course, but I can still wear it. Oh, I know exactly how you feel. Look, I'm still in my throat. That's why. My heart, I can feel it, man. I don't feel quite right. Remember, your Haramaki belly band. It's perfect for the cold English winters. Just the thing to keep my tummy warm. Yes, I see the link. Almost. Alright, whatever. What happened? Can you tell us what happened? What exactly happened last night then, Mr. Natsume? That's nothing to tell! But, Mr. Naruto is quiet. I'm terribly grateful for him helping with the curse of the case yesterday. The case that saw poor Miss Green hospitalized after she ended up with a knife in her back. It's hard to believe that was only yesterday. After the trial was over, I traced my weird ways back to my lowly lodgings. After that evening, past 9, it must have been, I visited Mr. Shakespeare. So you did go to the victim's room then? As we feared. I didn't do anything wrong! I'd never been to his room before! It was the first time! Then what made you decide to go? I bumped into him when I went back to the house. We got chatting and developed a discussion. We had to go out, so I bade him farewell. That ties in with what Mr. Kirip said, that the victim went out and came back after 8. We met again late that evening, at around 9 or just after, when I took him to some nice tea at Bruce as a gift. So it was you who brought the tea that had clearly been drunk at the scene then. And I suppose you weren't discussing the works of Shakespeare, were you? Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. Romeo and Juliet. Who was stronger? It's a delightful debate. Sure. Such Shakespeare. And the debate became very heated, so you slipped poison into Mr. Shakespeare's tea. No, never, not at all. Dame Juliet won. That was me. And when I left this room, the flamboyant fellow was fighting fit. I swear it's categorically. Mr. Natsume, you often say the same thing about yourself, I've noticed. That you have a cursed existence. I'm sure I mentioned this before, but I've been here in the Great Britain for a year now, and in that time, I've learned that there's no place for me. It can be very trying to live in a foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture. The foreigners everywhere I live, they all stare at me, they all laugh. That's the impression I get whenever I go out. It makes me scared. I leave my room. Which is why I've become a recluse. But in my room, I find I was fighting for my fears. Moved more times than I can remember. And then, 1 week ago, I moved into the private room. But why? I mean, why did you choose that place? It doesn't seem very comfortable. Because I rented cheap. I've so little money, it spoke to me. Okay, yeah, you mentioned this last time. The rent? Obviously, there's a reason why it's so cheap. Because the room is cursed. Cursed? Cursed how? The previous occupant, the man who lived there before, the second room, died there. Oh no! He's only a young man, but one morning he was found dead and no one would explain why. Surely no one would want to live in a room with a history like that. I didn't. When the lady agent recommended the place, I wavered. Buy web books! And books cost money! And the horrible history is a small price to pay! When I realized it would mean I could buy more books, I signed the lease like lightning. Brave or blinkered. But after I moved in, I soon came to realize what I'd done. I realized how horrible that room really was. Gosh, was it really so awful? Horrible oh gosh. How did the room's horrible history affect you, Mrs. Anthony? What happened? At first, it was just a feeling. The feeling of being has been pulling in my back, watching me. Do you think that might just been your mind playing tricks on you? No, my mind doesn't know anything but tricks. It was someone else. It's been one long nightmare ever since I was given the keys to the place. A nightmare. Been having bad dreams. I mean, it has something to do with like the loose bricks. Oh, so did I do you know what I mean in my sleep? I'm trying to check on me! It really is horrible. Now I come to think about it, it happened again last night too. What? The very same night that Mr. Shakespeare was writhing and begging for the position of his poison in his body. I was on the verge of being suffocated silently by the miserable place of the room. Simply must move out of the room as soon as possible. Yes, you're right, I know it, and that's why. I'm already searching for the next room with the history call home. I think perhaps you should try avoiding a combination with any kind of history at all. Otherwise, I'm scared that you yourself may become history. Wow! Sada-san knows how to make the man listen. Of course! My lord, the man is worried about the curse on his mirror. You mean Mr. Garrett? Yes, he knows that people keep dying there. He'll never be able to rent it out again. Well, that's true. I, for one, would go near the place. Ah, perhaps. That may explain why the landlord pays so much attention to the gas lamps and its movements. You mean because he's worried about their well-being? He does seem to have an unusually keen interest in the amount of gas in the pipes. Well, must be a reason why he keeps such close tabs on the occupancy of his let rooms. What do you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps? Oh dear, no, it's nothing to do with you, Miss Natsume. Please, forget I said anything. Oh, now you're talking about me behind my back as well. What's important is Mr. Shakespeare isn't in fact dead at all. Once he's come around and is able to tell us what happened, we'll be able to get you released. Yes, please. Oh, please. Oh, I do hope you're right. Excuse me. Oh, hi. Inspector Gregson.
I couldn't help overhearing what you just said. I'm not now. That's the good news. That's the bad news.
Oh.
What do you want first?
Always, every time, the bad news comes first. When I'm allowed to give, hold on to it. That's my guiding principle.
Right, well, in that case, the good news it is.
Huh?
Sorry, but it's just a lot easier to explain everything that way.
Why'd you ask me my preference?
As you might have heard, Mr. Shakespeare was just unconscious. He's come around now.
Yes, we saw it happen all in its terrifying glory.
He's still being treated by the doctors, but we managed to get a written statement from him already.
Oh, isn't that wonderful, Mr. Natsumi? Oh, thank goodness, it's all over then. I can leave this summer, so...
Sorry, no, that's not on the cards.
What? Why am I not, Inspector?
Mr. Shakespeare has implicated someone as being responsible for what happened last night.
Implicated someone? Oh dear. You don't want me...
I'm sorry to say I do, yes. He's pointing the finger at you, Mr. Natsumi.
Ah!
By sweet poison did he seek to end my life. That wicked detective, Sasaki Natsumi.
No.
So I'm afraid you'll be appearing in court as planned. You'll be wanting to make the necessary preparations.
No! And so, once again, Sasaki-san found himself having to take the dock in the Old Bailey. Whether his room was haunted, or whether he was just terribly unlucky, I knew I had no choice. The following day, I will represent him in court, and do my utmost to break the curse that blighted him. We done here? To be continued. I guess we are. Alright. That's actually good timing. It's 11:30 right now. I have to get to bed. I have to fix my sleep schedule because I'm gonna try to go full time at my work. And I need to be able to wake up earlier for that. Yeah, we're going straight to the trial next time. Alright. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. I actually got some company on one of these streams for once. Sorry for technical issues early on. But we got them sorted out. At least I hope. I hope it sounds fine. But thank you for tuning in, and tomorrow I'll be playing. Tomorrow I'll be playing Shin Megami Tensei 5. I was supposed to be playing that today, but I decided to swap today and yesterday's stream because today and tomorrow's stream because I wanted to play a little more of this first. I want variety. But that'll be it for me today. See you next time. Bye bye.